Hello, David. Welcome to Lofthouse Cancer and ZenOnco.io. I'm Justina from ZenOnco.io. This is our cancer healing journey talk, where we invite our speakers who have gone through cancer, maybe as a patient, caregiver, or survivor. These CHAs are very close to our heart because many patients tell us that when they listen to others' journey, it inspires them. It helps them to boost their confidence and gives them hope that if others can beat this disease successfully, why can't they? So, thank you so much, David, for joining today's CHA talk. So, could you please introduce yourself and tell us how it all began?
Yeah, my name's David. David Lofthouse, if you need the full name. My cancer journey began last August, around August 2021. I had an ear ache and a swelling in my neck. So I went to the doctors and they referred me to a specialist in a hospital in Leeds. They confirmed that it was a stage 4 tumour under the base of my tongue, and I had a bilateral infection in my neck nodes. I underwent treatment at the back end of last year, with 7 weeks intensive treatment, and I was given the Oxley in April this year.
All right. So, did you had any cancer history from your family side?
To be fair, I don't know the history because I was adopted. So my family history, medically wise, I have no idea.
All right. So, what was your first reaction? Because as this cancer news was very unexpected. So, what was your reaction and your family members' reaction when they got to know about this cancer?
Well, it's like everything, you know. Initially, it's a shock. Regarding how you feel, it's quite confusing because you're told you have cancer, but you're not told what it is, if it's terminal or if it's curable or treatable. And that comes later on. So you have a waiting period from a pre-diagnosis, as it were, to a full prognosis. And that is the time where it's all a bit vague, and telling people you've had or had cancer, they step back like it's some disease that's transmittable. And I think a few more people talking about it is a good thing.
Yeah. So, could you please specify what all treatment did you undergo during that time?
Sorry, but what was the question?
Could you please specify the treatments that you underwent during the
Right.
cancer?
Yeah. Initially, I was told I would have 3 chemo sessions, but I had 2 because I didn't need the third one, according to the oncologist. Regarding radiotherapy, I had 35 sessions, Monday to Friday, 7 weeks, which for me was a better or an easier treatment, albeit making you tired. The chemo didn't like the premise, the idea of it in the first place, let alone going through the treatment. But it's one of those, it needs addressing, it needs doing, especially for me personally. I don't want to die yet. So I think giving it the best shot of attacking the illness, you've got to take that chance.
Okay, so did you had any comorbidities uh, during that time when you were undergoing cancer treatment?
Did I have any what? Sorry.
Comorbidities like
Oh,
hypertension or any other, yeah.
I had, and I still have, anxiety, because obviously not knowing how the treatment would affect me initially, and the second lot of chemo had adverse effects. So that then plays with the psychology, as it were. So anytime I feel in that situation or a similar situation in everyday life, the anxiety pops up, which I'm learning to deal with in, going forward.
Yeah. So, as you said that you're still facing anxiety, and it was very overwhelming to you for you in the beginning of the cancer treatment itself,
Yeah.
because chemo is not an easy path. So, how did you manage your mental and emotional well-being during that time?
I wrote a journal, which I've turned into a book.
That's great. Okay.
So yeah, like yourselves, I want to put the story out for many people to understand what I went through from a cancer patient to a recovering cancer patient, and the journey that I underwent on a daily basis.
That's great that, that's such a great initiative that, you're putting out your journal, turning into a book and, helping others, guiding others and giving them hope as well. So, what were your other, things that helped you to, endure the cancer journey? Because uh, journal itself would be at times, chemo is not easy. So at times you'll be like, want to give up because it's too much to take for. So, what things helped you the most during that time, other than journey?
Yeah, when I was able to, I'd take my dog for a walk. So it's only outside. I don't know if you can see it, but outside there is a small rest area. So I could walk the dog. It's not too far from home, and get a bit of fresh air, which does help. It does help to get outside. I also started up painting again, so artwork. So again, takes your mind off the therapies. And for me personally, my journey wasn't overwhelmingly difficult, to the point where I was exhausted all the time. I had days where I had good days, and then I had bad days. But I think the second chemo, I was pretty much 4 days, and I was out of it. I was fatigued for 4 days to recover. But other than that, I was trying to do things to mentally keep, even watching TV, just escapism.
Yeah, that's so true. That mental well-being during the chemo and the other treatments is very important because uh, your your mental state has to accept the fact and the treatment because that also puts so much value in your cancer journey.
Yeah, and
So
also it adds to your recovery, because the more you do outside of your head, the easier it is to deal with the issues as they arise. Yeah, because at the end of the day, everybody has a start of life, a midpoint, and a death. And I think it's the acceptance of the latter, which I suppose in a way you realize that you're not immortal. You have mortality, and doing more things with life actually comes to the fore, spending time with family and making their life better as well as your own.
that's great. So, as during the cancer treatment, there would be so many lifestyle changes that you might have happened in your life. For example, following the diet plans. So, what was a change in your lifestyle that happened during cancer treatment, and something that you still follow after cancer?
Um, I've always been positive. I've always tried to look on the positives of life, and more so now. Whereas at the beginning, well, at the end of last year, I had a chili plant which I started to grow. So that, obviously, with the weather in the UK, it's not ideal. So after treatment finished, I bought 2 more plants, and then I've grown it into, I've got maybe 30 plants. So I'm trying to develop a different. For me, it's a hobby, but also I can turn it into a business. So I have more use out of the time I have, if that makes sense. Be more fulfilled, and that's the thing I take forward.
Okay. So, as you said that your journal turned into a book, so much happened. I'm not sure if you ever thought that you'd be writing a book and ending up publishing it, and helping so many cancer patients and caregivers out there. So, I would say that you actually explored yourself during this cancer journey. So, what were your top three learnings during this cancer journey?
Top three learnings. I would say accept that you have cancer, because whether you deny its existence or hide away from it, the fact of the matter is you have it. You can't get away from it. You accept it. Look at all the different possibilities of treatment. Ask as many questions as possible from the oncologist and the medical staff. And the third one is accept help, because there are times where I'm quite stubborn and I'm quite independent, but there are times where I needed help. And it's not necessarily I wanted it, I needed help. From family, from friends, from loved ones. You need that support. So I think my third one's mainly just ask for help if you need it, or accept it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. So, what would be your message to all the cancer givers and caregivers who will be listening to you?
I suppose never give up. Because as far as I'm concerned, the game of life isn't over until you stop breathing, and until you effectively until you're dead. So while you have breath in your body, keep fighting. Doesn't matter what illness you have. If it's terminal, fight as long as you can. It's that simple.
True. So, as you have already, wrote a book and it has a title, but just to sum up this journey again in a sentence, what would it be?
I suppose it'd be life affirming. It is because you're faced with death. Effectively, you've heard the word cancer, and automatically your mind says you're going to die, and that's a stigma, which isn't effectively true. We're all destined to die. By the end of the day, there are things that will affect us. You could die in a heartbeat and be gone. Whereas with cancer, you have some form of opportunity to fight back. So it is, for me, effectively life affirming. You have a life, live it.
Yeah. You have beautifully put in one sentence, and you explained it beautifully. So it was great listening to you, David. Thank you so much. You have already published a book, and all the best for your future
Thank you.
endeavors. And it was really inspiring listening to you because, as you said, positivity is the key when you're fighting with cancer, and sticking to sticking to and having hope throughout the journey is what cancer, defeating cancer is all about. So thank you so much for joining today's cancer healing journey session. Take care.
And thank you for having me. Right.
Bye.